What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. Welcome to the beginning of the NFL season officially. I feel like I've said that like 30 times now, but today is officially the first day of the preseason. I know that we had the Hall of Fame game and everything like that, which was fun to watch, but I don't even know if that counts as a preseason game. But I will say, guys, if you are with me for this season, you will make a lot of money. We have gone up 350 units 2 seasons in a row now, and you guys can see last year we went up about 450 units on a screenshot like this. We went up about close to 300 units in college football, and then close to 200 units in the NFL last year. And again, it's just a really exciting day because I feel like the wait has been very long, and we still did very well over the summer. Since May 1st, we're up 121 units, which is kind of what I'm calling my summer months of betting here. And you'll see there's ups and downs, right? We're on a little bit of a downturn here just recently, the past maybe 10 days. Haven't really hit a 4-man in like 10 days, which is crazy because if you go back a week ago or before that 10-day stretch, we literally hit 7 in a row over 7 days. Like it was like 7 days straight of 4-mans hitting. And, as you guys know, we sometimes, ups and downs are going to happen in betting. And sometimes like you cannot miss every single day, like clockwork, you're going to hit a 4-man. Maybe sometimes it's every other day. Maybe sometimes you hit 3 in one day. We've actually hit, 4 or 5 in one day on some of our biggest days on this channel and on my VIP. And some days you go on a pretty crazy long drought of like 7 to 9 days of not hitting a 4-man. But the 4-mans will come around. I will say yesterday we did pick up a setup with yesterday's Cleveland game, or tomorrow's Cleveland game. We got to wait for. We took Shadur Sanders under. We took Thrash under. So hopefully these guys do go under in tomorrow's game. A lot of correlation, which is exactly what we want to see. I'm trying to figure out kind of where to start here, but I guess I'll start up here in the top left with yesterday's YouTube play. Bulldog does go under 14.5 assists. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably ended up taking this at under 13.5. I believe he was up at 14.5 for a good hour and a half, maybe an hour, and then he bumped down to 13.5. Now, I did say to take him at 13.5. I actually said to take him all the way down to 13. Pretty much what ends up happening is in game 1, his team wins the game, so he gets 13 assists, which is pretty high for him, even off of a win, but 13 assists in the game he wins. And in the game he loses, he only gets 1 assist, okay? So that's what I always say in League of Legends. League of Legends can sound complicated with all these different players and what they do in their roles and stuff, but the simplest way to put League of Legends is that a winning team is going to get more kills and assists. The losing team is going to get less kills and assists, okay? So again, he won the game. The game that he won, he got 13 assists in that game, and the game he lost, he got 1 assist in that game, putting him under at 14. Now, I know a lot of the VIP members did probably take this and did end up hitting this here. We are waiting for Moro to obviously hopefully go under her rebound line, but I understand a lot of you guys maybe took it at 13.5, which sucks, because you would have missed, but it is what it is at the end of the day. That's why I talk about these different bumps are very important, because sometimes you're going to hit, if you get at 14.5, you'll hit at 14, but you'll obviously miss if you took it at 13.5. This one was pretty much just straight up a miss here. And then we had a lot of opposite correlation. You'll see this is actually 2 days in a row of having a 0 of 4, which I know normally an 0 of 4, you're like, oh man, this is a horrible entry. But I talk about correlation in the way that we want to have things hit together or miss together. So if you go down here, you'll see that these things actually hit together, right? Because this is very correlated in Counter-Strike. I haven't talked about Counter-Strike very much these past couple of weeks, but we did take a Counter-Strike entry, and this went to double overtime. So if this game goes to double overtime, this means that these guys are going to get a lot more kills, right? In Counter-Strike, how it works, instead of League of Legends, it's one team does more, the other team does less. In Counter-Strike, the more rounds there are, if it goes into overtime, whatever it is, the more kills there are generally in this game, leading to these guys go over. And again, we paired it up with a couple of players on the Browns to go under together, hoping for not so good of a passing night for them. And I'm also going to kind of get into preseason. I do have a preseason play in today's video, and we do have some opposite correlation. And then again, I take over under, and what ends up happening is actually over and under the opposite direction, because again, as I said, this team ended up winning the game, and this team ended up losing the game here. You'll see the same thing here, where the opposite sort of occurred right here, right, which is correlation. And I talked about this the other day. This has really been in my head recently of the, idea of a strategy. What is a strategy and what our strategy is, and it's correlation and it's finding closing line value, right? I talked about the Eagles a couple days ago, where how they won the Super Bowl is they stuck to a very concise strategy. It was running the ball with Saquon, it was doing tush pushes, it was having a great offensive line. Just because they lost, some random week 5 game or something like that, I don't know when they lost, but they had some losses throughout their season. Did they completely abandon their strategy? Did the coach of the Eagles be like, hey guys, we lost one game, we're going to completely abandon our strategy and go try to pass for 400 yards a game? No, they stuck to their strategy and they eventually won the Super Bowl, right? One more thing, guys, we also did cash this Don Jake line. That was really nice there. I know a lot of you guys got it at 10. A lot of you guys even got it at 8.5 under, and he does hit at 8. So really nice there. If you don't count, yes, this was yesterday's entry, was technically hit/miss, but on a 2-day streak of hitting, they were discounts. It was Monday's discounted play did hit, and then Taco Tuesday's discounted play did hit here in yesterday's video, or two videos ago. So yeah, hopefully we can also cash more O2. I know I'm kind of all over the place right now, but you guys will see kind of an up and down day with a setup, right? So if this hits for us, this would be huge, and this would instantly put us up like 8 units or something like that. As you guys know, everything is tracked. I already kind of went over this, and I do go over this every day. Every single day before I film this video, I do update this. So, if you went back to yesterday's video, we did go down about 2 units yesterday, and you would have saw this at about 123 or something like that. But, all that matters is that we're in the green, and we always bounce back out of things, right? You'll see here, we have downturns all the time. There's little downturns here, even little mini downturns. These are just kind of like bad days and stuff, and we always come back out of them, right? We always come back out of them day after day after day, week after week after week. And you'll see this is the span of all of last year. So this was all 2024, and very, very similar story, right? We have little downturns and then we come back up. We have little downturns, come back up, downturn here, come back up, right? And this is months and months and months of data. This is like 3,000 bets. So if you do something 3,000 times and you have that much amount of data, and you're up about 600 units, then you know that we win long-term, guys, and we're using the exact same strategy, right? You could go back to videos last November, last time this year, and we're doing the exact same things, all right? All right, so let's talk about the actual entry of the day. So here it is. We do have an NFL preseason line, and the first play is going to be Ashton Jeanty to go under 22.5 rush yards. Now, you might be surprised by this. You might say, wow, Ashton Jeanty, he's a great player. Why would we take him under, right? I agree with you. He's an amazing player. He's going to probably have an amazing year, right? But you have to think about the preseason, where these teams do not play their star players very much, okay? Why would they play their star players? If you think about rookie running backs, they honestly make an impact right away. Ashton Jeanty, you could argue, is the #1 player on this Raiders offense day one. Why would they play him that much? Why would they risk him to be injured that much if he is the #1 player on this team? There's no player competing on the Raiders with him in that running back room for Ashton Jeanty, okay? So they'll probably run him 3 or 4 times, maybe 1 series, maybe 2 series, and then they're going to take him out of the game and just say, look, we're going to let everyone else play. You're Ashton Jeanty. We know you're good, and we're going to take you out of the game. Now, if you don't believe me, we can actually go back just a week ago to the Hall of Fame game, and we have a very similar situation with a guy named Amarian Hampton, okay? If you don't know, he was also drafted in the first round out of North Carolina. He got 2 carries a week ago, okay? 2 carries. Amarian Hampton, he got 2 carries for 9 yards. They put him in for, a 1 series, I believe, and they said, look, no one's competing with you. We're going to take you out of the game, and we're going to play all of these other guys that, again, they're okay backup running backs or whatever, but no one is comparing to Amarian Hampton. It is going to be the same situation here. Now, again, thinking about it, could Ashton Jeanty break out a 30-yard run, in one of his couple runs that I think he's going to have tonight? Yes, of course, guys. He could, of course, do that. But over, a long period of time, or if you were to take this entry 100 times, if he only gets a couple of handoffs, he's probably going under, all right? That is why I favor these unders in these preseason games so much, because people run these lines up and people boost these lines up because they're excited to watch Jeanty play. They're excited to watch Shedeur Sanders play for the first time. They're excited to watch Travis Hunter, and they think they're going to have these breakout games in the preseason where Travis Hunter's going to get 60 yards in a preseason game, and that's just not going to happen, right? If we look at an entry, if I can erase some of this, but if we look at this entry that we took yesterday, right, we took Shedeur Sanders under and we took Thrash under. Shedeur Sanders' line was 125. Now it's 120. I still honestly like it at under 120. If we look at this game again, And I was looking at this while I was finding this web page. If you look at this, the first line in this thing that was published right after this game was, on his third team in 5 seasons, Trey Lance played finally like a number 3 overall pick. What does that mean? Everyone was hyping up Trey Lance like he played a really, really good game in the preseason. He actually played 3 quarters, which was more than I thought he was going to play, and he got 120 yards. All right, think about that. A guy in his 5th NFL season threw 20 times. He's the 3rd round pick. He sat, under under players on the 49ers. He sat under Kyle Shanahan on the 49ers. Really, really good coach, really good quarterback coach. And he got 120 yards, and he played a really solid game according to all these sources. Why would Shedeur Sanders, in his first NFL game, playing with backup receivers, playing on the Browns, why would he get 125 yards in a game, right? Even if he does end up playing 3 quarters, which again, I don't think he's going to play 3 quarters like Trey Lance did, but if he plays 2 quarters, why would he get this thing? Same thing here, yes, could he get 200 yards and just have an absolutely phenomenal game? Of course he could do that, guys. Of course he could do that. But again, is that likely? No, probably not, right? Probably not. He's probably going to go under, which is why I took this the other day, yesterday actually. So again, Ashton Jeanty under. I just explained it for a long period of time, but I really do like his under just because I think he's only going to get a couple of handoffs in this game, and then they're going to sit him for some of the other backups, all right? Delight, I don't want to go too much into this, but I do like him all the way down to 25. If you can get him at 25, that is still a solid play, but obviously take his under. And it's similar to what I always say. I do think this game either has a chance of going 1-1 or 2-0 to HLE's favor. I think if the game does go 2-0 to HLE's favor, there's like a 50-50 shot that this hits, all right? It's probably like 50% chance. And then if the other situation happens, I think there's like an 80% chance that this hits, okay? So again, we have 2 situations, one happening where one team is winning 1 game, right? The worst team, KT, if they take 1 game away from HLE, then there's like an 80% chance that this goes ahead and hits the under because this guy is obviously on the HLE team. And then if this team does go ahead and sweep them, then it's probably 50-50 that he goes over or under, to be honest with you guys. But 25.5 is still pretty high for him. And again, I like him all the way down to 25. I think his line should be more like 23, something like that. All right. So this is the play of the day. Again, we're on a 2-day win streak on this channel, right? We have hit this, and then we also hit the Monday play also we hit, which was a discount. So if you guys do want to join the VIP, if you kind of like what I'm talking about, again, I can almost promise you guys we're going to make a lot of money this NFL season. I really don't like promising anything just because I don't think anything's guaranteed in the world. But again, I can almost promise you we're going to make money over this NFL season, guys. If you do want to join, preseason is here, NFL season is here. There's honestly a lot of money to be made in the preseason because these lines are so off a lot of times. Text me the word Bovada to my number right here. Honestly, if you're watching on your phone, just swipe up and text the word Bovada to this number, and I will get you into the VIP for 2 free months for signing up for Bovada and following the steps that I send you. Super simple to do so as long as your state is right here in the red or you're in one of these states currently. And then again, with Better, you can do the same thing. With REBET, you can do the same thing. And with Novig, you can do the same thing. All right, guys? So maybe if you already have Better, sign up for REBET. If you already have Novig, sign up for Better, whatever it is, guys. There's a lot of situations, and I'll get you in somehow, right? So text me. I'm here to help you guys and help you guys make money over the long term. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.